Right. Hello guys, welcome to this edition of the series of interviews with fellow streamers. Today with us we have Solutar Krateris, if I said that correctly. So welcome to the interview, Solutar. Thank you very much for accepting the invitation, first of all. And
thank you for having me.
We're gonna go straight into the questions now, guys. Sorry, I need to turn the camera off for this. No, leave it. This is the interview with the camera, the first one. So the idea is to introduce you to the audience. I mean, I know you already have a lot of people following you and everything, but let's start with the general questions about you. Where are you from?
I am from Germany, and I'm living at the moment in Berlin, capital of Germany. And yeah, before that in Brandenburg, that's the eastern part of Germany, but Berlin is just way better because of better internet connection and more things to do.
Okay, that's fair enough. So do you play in the game, do you play both sides, order and destruction, or you like one of those people that say I only play destruction?
Technically I play both sides, but I'm like really into getting a character to the end. At the moment that's my chosen, the first character I started playing with on the server. So I want to get from my chosen invader set and the scenario weapons. Scenario weapons I have already, and invader, that's the thing I need to get. And get some good talismans, and then I'm going to switch to a different class. I don't know yet if it's going to be on destruction or on order. I just noticed, like yesterday, I did a bet with Zarbix.
A bet?
Yes, a bet. It was about like Talabak. I want to totally get very fast to tier 4 to Prague, and Talabak land was open. And I did a bet with Zarbix and was telling him my idea is if I was leading a warband on destruction side in Talabak first, and then I said to him like my idea is if I leave now as a warband leader Talabak land and just go out of RBR, Destro will have one less warband because I'm very sure no other warband leader will step up to take over my warband, so there will be, you know, Destro will be underpopulated, and Order is going to take very quickly the zone, and the zone will be locked, and then we can go very fast to Prague. And Zarbix was like, I don't believe that that's going to happen, and he said like if that actually works out in an hour, I'm going to give you a sub. And I was like, okay, I need to get that sub. And it was less about the sub, it was way more about, you know, winning a bet against Zarbix. And then I switched over to Order. I have a level 21 Warrior Priest on Order side, the only character on Order side that I have.
What?
Oh, you disappeared.
Yeah, I think the dev is teleporting us to a better arena, he says, so he just teleported me mid-interview. Thank you. It's a bit more private. It's a bit more private up here, I think.
I see.
This is this is an interview with surprises in it. Thanks, Secret. Guys, I've never been up here, so just looking around ourselves. You know, it's we're one floor up. We are even one floor up, further up. We're on the platform. Okay, that sounds cool. So, did you win this bet?
I did not. As I was going to say, I played on my Warrior Priest, so technically I played on Order side now too, and I did not make it to actually lock the zone, and not in an hour, but it was later locked by Destro when the siege I tried failed. But at that moment I noticed, like, if it is necessary or if it makes sense for me, I'm totally willing to play the other side too. So I'm playing at the moment like 90% of the time on Destro side, but Order is still a viable option for me to play.
So I'm asking you this because there are a lot of people that say I play both sides because if one side needs help, I log in on that one. If you know, the other side needs help, I log on that one. That's why I ask these questions.
Yeah, but I understand that point of view, so, I guess.
I'm sorry. I paused because I'm reading the chat. It says, just promise you guys at the end, at least you're going to punt Fixer off. At the end of the interview, he wants you to punt me off. Anyways, so I'll take it the Chosen is your main class then, the one that you play right now. So I want to ask you why this class and not some other class. You know, there's 24 classes, 12 on each side. Why the Chosen and not the Blackguard, or why not the Black Orc as a tank? Since it seems like you like tanks.
Well, that has pretty much to do with like when I started playing on this private server, because Warhammer Online Age of Reckoning, the live version of this game, was actually pretty much one of the first games I ever played. I have to say that was online that I ever played.
Wow.
And Chosen was on that server my first choice too. That was because of the aesthetics. You know, I wanted to play humans, so I'm like, you know, a human, so it is a bit more, I can identify with it a little bit more than the other classes. And on Order, the humans, they were like, I don't know, too fancy and stuff like that. And Chosen is exactly what I just love as a character. You know, he just screams like he is ultra bulky, but he doesn't say a lot. He's just crushing and doing his job, and that's what I like about
I just zoomed into you. I don't know if you're watching the stream or not, just to show, because you spoke about aesthetics, so I have you like full screen, just you, to show how you look like. Because to tell you the truth, although I told you before, I don't like the mask personally, right? It's a personal opinion, you know, but it does go well with the rest of it. The way you have like the shoes there that look like dragon feet and everything. You've done a great job. I'm only doing this because you mentioned aesthetics, you know?
Yeah, of course. Maybe if I just can explain why I have it like this. I noticed when I started when I played for a while the game, there are a lot of Khorne armor sets that look really great. You know, Khorne is one of the Chaos Gods, and Nurgle, there's a Nurgle armor set that looks absolutely insane, really just awesome. And the same for Tzeentch, of course. The whole game is about, you know, Chaos and Tzeentch, like the faction leader, I don't know his name right now, but he's one of the Chosens of Tzeentch. And I noticed there is no armor set for Slaanesh, you know, one of the Chaos Gods. And then I thought, like, okay, then I'm going to make my own, more or less, Slaanesh inspired armor sets.
And on the chat here, Secret Past says Slaanesh has like no representation in this game, so you might be actually the only one actually representing Slaanesh at the moment. Which is good. Is good. This is the thing I was talking about. People taking initiative, people creating events, people, you know, getting involved. You did something that is not really represented in the game. You brought it in.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah. I really like it though.
You look good. The fact that I don't like the mask, that doesn't mean that you didn't do a great job, you know? It's just an opinion. So, sorry. Let me ask something else. So, you said you played the live one, right?
Yes.
So, did you play, like, Destrocide there on live?
Yes.
Did you play Chosen again?
Yes.
All right, so you carried on, same side, same class, because I was playing Witch Elf and Swigherder on live, but when I came to this server, I switched back to Order. And when it comes to the counterpart of the Chosen, if I'm not mistaken, and please do correct me, you know, the counterpart of the Chosen is the Knight of the Blazing Sun. They have the same system with the auras and all that. Have you ever played the Knight of the Blazing Sun?
No, I did not. No.
But you have fought them in RVR, in PvP, against them.
Of course.
So, you being on the receiving end of the Knight of the Blazing Sun, which is, if you like, with inverted commas, your mirror image, right? Do you feel that the two classes, combat-wise, like in the game, they feel the same, like equal?
First off, congratulations to whatever you just got.
Yeah, that's a follow from Secret Pass. Thank you.
Nice. Are they the same?
Yeah, how does it feel? I mean, for me, to give you an example, my counterpart as an engineer is the Magus, okay? In the game, it feels that the Magus can do more DPS, but he's a bit more squishy. You know what I mean? We are equal, more or less, but in different areas. Do you feel that with your counterpart in the game when you fight them?
Like, feeling-wise, it is pretty much the same. Again, just feeling-wise. If I see them in fort attacks or in tier 4 or in RVR and keep attacks, whatever, or on small scale, I always have the feeling this particular Knight of the Blazing Sun chose a specific path to play his class that could be be played by a chosen too, right? Doesn't matter if he's a two-handed or sword and board. It is possible for me. Like I can imagine, as you asked me, I feel a chosen could do the same and could play just as good. It's way more about the player behind the class, behind the player that is playing the knight or the chosen.
That's very interesting you say, because if you watch the other interviews we did in the past, people say, one is stronger, one is this, or they point out, like I said, like the Magus is a bit weaker on defenses, more damage than the engine, and so on. You're the first one then saying, it depends on the player behind it as well. Regardless if they're actually equal or mirror images, also the player makes a lot of a difference. And I agree with you on that aspect. So if we take as a granted that the main class you play is chosen, if chosen was not an option in the game, okay, you couldn't pick a chosen, what would be the other class that you could consider playing as a main class? And if you're the one you pick, I would like you to tell me why as well.
It probably would be a tank. I'm not sure right now if Order or Destro. I guess I would again go for Destro, and then maybe Blackguard instead of Black Orc. Not sure again. And I would choose that because I'm by far like it's my biggest interest in getting rewards in the game, getting gear, getting good stuff that makes my character strong and stuff like that. And the way to do this is by leading warbands or to being active in RVR. And I've noticed, especially yesterday when I played the warrior priest on Order side, as a healer leading a warband is in my opinion very hard. And maybe just different, but I would say it's really way harder than if you play a tank. As a chosen, when I'm leading a warband, I'm literally just going for it. Like I'm the first in the battle. I'm getting focused. And that's how it should be, or I got my guard target, whatever. But as a healer, it's not the same. Or as a DPS, any melee DPS or range DPS, I mean, they get just bombed instantly and die. And very often, if I run in as a healer of a warband, of a pack warband, people are not following me after I stopped because I don't want to be the first in the fight and stuff like that. That's
a problem. So the next question was whether you play more warband solo 6-man. So I'll answer that myself. You do warbands. And you're right. I mean, if you're going to run a warband, you need to be at the front lines. You need to be at the front leading the charge. So healers is not really a very good option for leading warbands because you have to stay at the back. People don't see you. They need to follow you. You know what I mean? A tank, of course, for your gameplay is the right option to lead a warband. So I know you do a lot of warbands. To be honest, I've never had the chance to watch an entire stream. I usually watch parts of your stream. But do you ever do scenarios?
Yes, of course. As I said, the most important part for me is getting gear, getting stuff, etc. So I needed to get the scenario weapons, and I farmed scenarios for a long while. Only a few times with premates, like the most of the time only solo. And I do scenarios too, without question.
So when you run your warbands, because I know that's your main thing that you do, you run open warbands, anybody can join, or do you run closed warbands? The ones you invite people to them.
It's like most of the time it's public warbands. It's open for everyone to join. The only time when I'm actually closing the warband is when there's like really a huge imbalance in the warband. Like if there is only one healer for 4 groups or something, then I'm closing the warband, and if people leave, I'm asking in tier 4 chat any healers up that can join in. Or if people while I'm streaming are saying in chat, hey, I would like to participate in RVR, could you reserve me a spot or something? Then I'm also closing the warband and inviting the person to the warband.
Right, so as a streamer then you take care of your viewers. They want to come into your warband, they can request that, and you do what you can at the moment to do that. That's nice.
Well, I have to say it's way less about doing them a favor. It's way more about having a warband that works. And people leaving public warbands is happening pretty much all the time. So if somebody in my stream says, "Hey, I'm up. I can be, your reserve as soon as spot is open," I'm really happy, because that means even if somebody leaves, the warband will be full again and instantly, pretty much.
Yeah,
So
no, I mean that's good. I experienced that to my stream when I invite people to come. I don't do warbands, but I do 6-man. So there's sometimes it's like 2 or 3 of us. Sometimes it's 7. So someone waits and says, when you got a spot, let me know. It's really helpful, and I think it helps the community to bond as well when the streamers interact with the viewers in the game to do things together. So when it comes to Chosens, you are level 40, 80, or 60. What's your renown rank?
At the moment, it's 82.
82. So I would say you're an experienced player with the Chosen. So for people that are listening to us right now, watching this interview, or will watch in the future, as an experienced Chosen player, do you have any tips you could give to people that are going to pick up this class and they want to play this class?
Not really, to be honest, because the point is, I could of course say like that there are specific tactics that can work, there are specific abilities that you should get and stuff like that. But I mean, there are so many options how you can play this game with every class that is available. So if you pick a Chosen, do this what a Chosen is supposed to do. He's a tank. Doesn't matter if you go for a 2-hander or sword and board. So you have to guard, you have to go in, you have to do crowd control. Just learn the class from the basics and then go on while you play to learn the more advanced stuff. Play in a guild, play with a group, all that kind of stuff. But that applies pretty much to any class. If you want, I can be way more specific right now and actually talk about tactics.
No, I mean, it's up to you what you want to reply. I just, usually people say, for example, the NG, they say, Grenadier AoE, faster leveling, sniper single target, things like that, just to guide people. But what you said is, it's also good because that's the thing I love about Warhammer Online. There's so many ways you can play a character, so many gear combinations you can do, that if you actually spend some time, you're going to be surprised by how many different things you can do with one class. And now that we said about the class, you said that you've played this class on live, and you've played it here on Return of Reckoning, the private server. So what I want to ask is, since you've played both versions, because the Return of Reckoning has made some changes, both to gear, statistics, the trees, the renown level is less, some renown skills are missing from the game. If you want, or if you can if you compare the two, right, the live version to the version of the character here, since you've played the same class, which one do you think is better? And before you answer, let me give you an example as well. Some people say, even for me, for the NG, that the fact that they moved a couple of skills on the paths lower, so you need less points to get them, it gives us the ability to have more interesting builds. So I think, for example, the NG is a lot better on this server than it was on live. Do you think that the Chosen looks better on this server, or the same, or worse?
I would say it's pretty much the same, but I have to say to that, like, I played live for a year. But just to make this very clear, even though I played a year on live, I was an absolute noob. And I know
we all were back then.
Yeah, no. It's way more like I was back then very young, and again, it was my first online experience, and I had like back then in my mind that the game is going to adapt to my way of playing instead of the other way around. So what I was doing was like I did only PvE. I never touched RVR.
Wow.
Until I was like 40 and like way after I was 42. And I was even in a guild, and people told me like you should probably do RVR, but I was saying no, I'm so interested in a story and stuff like that. And then I started RVR, and it was just
different.
Like, yeah, of course different, but it was very very chaotic. because I never experienced tier 1 RVR. I never experienced tier 2 RVR, all the kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then I jumped into tier 4 RVR
Oh my God.
and knew nothing pretty much.
Oh my God.
And I played like this pretty much for half a year or something.
Ooh.
And it was just chaotic. So if you ask me right now, what are the differences between live version Chosen and right now Chosen? I can tell you a lot about the Chosen right now, but the Chosen from
Back
live,
then, yeah.
and
I mean,
I was just running around with like level 40 and level 16 gear or stuff like that. So I don't know.
Well, the way you describe it, definitely. I mean, I wouldn't have an opinion like that either, because the game is, for many people, mainly PvP. You know, there are aspects of the PvE, of course, but yeah, damn. Jump straight to tier 4 with no experience of the other PvP levels before. It must be really, really hard. I think it would have felt like you're learning to swim and they throw you in the ocean and say goodbye.
Yeah, pretty much. But at the same time, they're standing on the coast and yelling at you like, "Why are you so dumb and you cannot swim, you stupid shit?" You know?
True.
Stuff like
so, now that we are on Return of Reckoning, what's your opinion about the new content? New content lately, well, not very lately, but anyways, you're talking about forts, the Bastion, and all these changes that been happening. What do you think? The good, the bad? What's your opinion on it?
They are amazing. Like I'm really like an advocate of the developers on this server, and I'm not saying this because I'm on stream or something. I'm saying this pretty much always. I'm very sure some developers are already annoyed of me, like whenever they are popping up in advice chat or announcing a patch is coming, I always type in like all hail the developers, because in my opinion it's just really great what they are doing. Like we couldn't play this game without them. It's that easy, and it's
That's
free
true.
to play, and they're volunteering their free time. It is just amazing. Like it's the amount of work I can't imagine I myself could put into something like that, and it's going on now for years. So it's really amazing what they're doing. And yeah, Fort's Bastions there. Fort was really great. It was buggy in the beginning, sadly, which was a bit like, I don't know. I was a bit curious about that, because I knew a lot of people tested forts on a test server. And then it was so buggy. That was a bit sad, but of course that happens, you know. And now forts are going on, and they're pretty good. Like people get very excited when a fort fight is coming up and stuff like that. And
yeah,
I just love it. And Bastions there, I have to say, like as I said, like Invader gear is at the moment the armor set I'm going for. So I never played Bastions there yet on the live server, but I tested it on the test server, and it was, in my opinion, okay. PvE is not really my part of the game, as long as I don't get something good out of it, of course.
Yeah, true.
So
yeah, Bastion, I don't know, I didn't do it on live and I haven't tried it here yet, but Forge, you're right, they were a bit buggy, but the good thing is, like you say, the devs, they bring it out when the thing is ready, and definitely no matter how many times you test something on the test server, I'm pretty sure it doesn't always end up the same thing on the live version when you play it. But the thing is, they look into it, you know. There's next week there's a patch, we fix this, we'll try and fix this.
Yeah,
they are trying to fix it, you know. It's not like, oh, it came out this buggy, who gives a shit. They're actually paying a lot of attention. And also would like, because we've mentioned the devs in this, I also would like to say that also the GMs, that they do this on the free time to help people to manage the game, to the day-to-day, hour-by-hour things. A big thank you to them as well, because I know some of them put a lot of hours, some of them make also add-ons to help us more experience the game a lot better. And also Tira here on the chat says there are not even remotely enough testers to test something like Forts. We do what we can with what we have. At least it's not something that was made overnight and thrown into it. So this concludes the questions, like I've marked as like general questions about, you know, the game, your class and all this. So now I want to talk a little bit about the Solutar Krateris, the streamer, right? I want to focus a little bit more the questions towards your stream at the moment. So to tell you the truth, I've met you here on Warhammer Online Return of Reckoning. I think I've seen you streaming for about a month, maybe month and a half, something like that. This game. So my question is, are you a new streamer? Like you got on this game, you start streaming this game, so you're actually like 2 years old streaming wise, or did you stream in the past, you're an experienced streamer and you just showed up on this game lately?
I have no experience whatsoever with streaming, and as you said, I started streaming like a month ago about. And yeah, so but to make this very clear, like I've streamed once for like an hour or something, I think Hearthstone, but the first game I streamed was Return of Reckoning, and it was a month ago or something. And maybe just to say why I started streaming,
Of course.
Also the reason, or one of the reasons, is the developers. I don't know exactly the context anymore, but one of the developers, I think it was about donations. Yeah, one of the developers said, we don't want donations. Even if we could take donations, we wouldn't take them, because for some ethical reason, which was pretty amazing in my opinion. But instead he said, if you want to support the server, bring life to the server, make people play the game, play yourself the game, go to the testing server, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And that was the beginning when I first I got just way more active in the advice chat, telling people, helping people, etc., etc. Then starting warbands too, and then going to the test server. And in the end, I was like for a very long time in Keka's stream.
Yeah.
And was watching him, and I noticed quite like very late actually that people came into his stream, were asking like, oh man, it's so awesome, this game, and started playing. And then I thought, okay, I should stream too, so people see this other the other half of the game, the RVR, the scenarios, and stuff like that. And then I started doing this.
The more we have, the more streamers we have, the better it is. And this is one reason I stream. I'm trying to get as many people into the game, so we have bigger fights, better fights, and also hopefully we can get some people in different time zones. So we're gonna have streamers in different time zones, so we can cover the entire 24 hours of the channel being active, and also have enough people to have action in the game when we play during all hours. Because there's an issue with like North America at the moment. They don't have enough players, so you can't find scenarios or big warbands or anything like that. Tira says, no ethical reason. It's keeping Game Workshop from closing down the game. It's a gray zone as long as the developers don't make bank with the game. That refers to the donations.
Just maybe quickly to respond.
Yes, of course.
To that. I know that there is a gray area with the donations, but I was talking about a specific event. I think that was a developer in a stream of somebody. Maybe it was even Keka's stream, and he was especially saying like, even if donations were allowed, we wouldn't take them, because it's undermining the idea of people working on the project or something like that. That's what I meant with an ethical reason.
All right, okay.
That they were saying, even if donations were allowed, we wouldn't take them because it wouldn't be the right thing. That's what he said in the stream, I think it was.
That's right. So since you're a new stream and everything, when do you stream? Do you have a schedule? People can see that? Are you steady streaming, or like some other people, they say whenever we can?
Technically, I have a schedule, but it's I just noticed like 2 or 3 days ago, it doesn't really work out. So I would say right now I don't have a schedule, because it's always shifting. Like if I
tell me about it.
More work, stuff like that, I have to start later, or I'm starting earlier and stopping earlier, etc., etc. So it changes.
I tried to create a steady timetable for my stream for like a month and a half, and with job shifting, the shifts and all that, it's becoming more of a nightmare. So people, I would advise people for your stream and my stream and other streams as well. It might be annoying, but turn on notifications. It's the only safe way to know when we're coming online, now that the schedules are not steady at the moment. We do what we can, though,
Exactly.
So do you have something like a standard amount of time that you stream? For example, my weekly streams, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, they're all like 5 hours strict. Do you have a time limit, or you come in and you do as much as you can depending on how things go?
Well, the good thing I have right now is I just moved recently to my new flat I'm in right now in Berlin, and because of a new job I got.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And so right now I'm pretty much just living in a flat work, and I'm bringing work to home, to my new home, and I'm streaming pretty much every day. Doesn't matter if Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, in the week or whenever. So I'm online, as I said, pretty much all days, but I can't say for how long exactly. But when I'm in the game, I'm most of the time trying to get to the end. For me, that means pushing zones in RVR until we are getting to our fort. And if the fort is over, then most of the time I'm stopping.
Oh, good. Now I can catch you up and go on the defense. It's easier for me. Now I know what I'm doing in the game. I have a purpose. So when you stream, Solutar, do you only stream on Twitch, or have you tried or are doing in different days different things like YouTube, Mixer, or anything else?
No, I just streamed on Twitch because, as I said, I started. I actually have a YouTube channel with a German friend of mine from years ago. He just recently quit, sadly, YouTube. But I'm streaming, as I said, pretty much only on Twitch. I'm not even yet have a fully fledged out Twitch channel. So starting somewhere else, I don't think that would be a good idea.
There are other problems like YouTube with the music, with the rights. Twitch is a bit more flexible at the moment. And when you reach a certain amount of people, which you will pretty soon since you just started, and you go to affiliate level, even if you want to put something on YouTube, so I'm telling you this in advance, you need to wait 24 hours to upload it. Otherwise, it's going to be a problem.
Jeez, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's Twitch. You're gonna have a problem with Twitch. Doesn't allow you to stream at the same time on YouTube, Mixer at the same time. And if you're gonna upload a video, you have to wait 24 hours if it's recorded on Twitch. So that goes for everybody, including me, you. That's just why I leave about a week for the interviews to upload them, because I do other things, so time pass by and stuff. So. Okay. Do you have any other media? I mean, you said you had the YouTube channel, but do you have Tweet or I don't know, Instagram, something like that people can connect with you, since you are now a public face, on the?
Yeah, I mean, the way you phrase it, I probably should start something like that. But I quit social media a long time ago because I don't trust, the huge companies like Facebook and stuff with my data anymore. So at the moment I just don't have any sort of reliable source to when I'm online or doing something.
I don't do that either. I mean, I have Fixer's website, people can get a hold of me on there, but that's it. I don't want to have too many things to control, So there's a question for you on the chat here on the stream, which says, what is your view on faction deliberately letting a zone fall by not defending it to be able to move the battle to a fort zone and the mat sought after invader?
Yeah, that's of course one of the biggest issues that came up with the forts that were implemented. At the moment, my opinion on that is pretty much people can play the way they want. If they don't have, faction pride or the the intent of defending the zone, or that actually they want to throw the zone so they can have a fort attack, I don't think I'm in the position, and I'm just talking for me, I'm not in the position to whisper them or to say in region chat or anywhere else something like, well, F you traitor, whatever, stuff like that. Because, for me, it goes into the part of they can play the game how they want. If they don't want to defend a zone, that's okay. It's something different if they, for example, spawning a ram and then running away with it, or towards order or something while they're playing destruction, so order can destroy the ram. That's actually something they should be banned for, But if they just refuse to play in a zone for whatever reason, I don't know, and just do scenarios or PvE or standing AFK in the war camp, that is their decision, right? It's it's my decision that I'm always playing in the last zone, so I can, get into the fort to get contribution to,
yes,
to fight in the fort.
But do you think though that this kind of behavior like helps the game? I mean, you want to go and play a zone, and then 10, 15, 20 people, let's say from your side that you play Destro, they want to leave the map to go to the fort because they're only one invader. Doesn't that like ruin the game for the rest of the people that want to do the PvP? I would say it does. That's my opinion. It does, and they should fight the map
it's
properly.
Valid. If you think so, it's perfectly valid. But my idea is like, I'm not, or like, we are not supposed to play this game to help it. Like, we are playing it because it is fun for us. That's the main reason. That's the reason why the developers are making this game. That's the reason why the majority of the people playing this game. And if they are ruining it for the others, I don't see the connection between them making the decision not playing in a zone anymore and between the others that want to play in the zone. It's just the ones decide not to fight in the zone, the others don't want to. Well, no, sorry, the others want to fight in the zone.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of decision, and I don't really see how it is like ruining something. If you can't take, please don't get that the wrong way, but if you can't take a lose, like losing a zone or losing a scenario or something, then in my opinion, that's at least what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm taking a break. I'm saying, okay, if the game makes me angry right now, I'm stepping away from the keyboard. I'm doing something else. I'm calming down, hitting the pillow or something.
Hitting the pillow.
Like that.
I agree with you. Okay, everybody has the choice to do whatever they want in the game, and that's the beauty of online MMORPGs, the fact that you have the freedom to choose. You're not guided. I think that's pretty clear. Now, we have a couple of people typing there on the chat that says that, sometimes the population is such that you could have one map endlessly because it doesn't move forward. The population is even, you can't take the keep, they can't take the keep, so someone who's going to have to back off. That's also something that happens, okay? And
just to say one thing, you can take a keep if the population is equal.
Yes, you can, but it's not that you can, but it could take 5 hours or 6 hours sometimes, depending on the map. It takes a lot longer, and people sometimes, they don't want to fight a zone so long. Most people are happy with zones lasting 1 to maybe 2 hours maximum, that's it. The other thing to say here is that deliberately letting a zone fall won't be favorable coming to city release. So once we get the cities, probably not fighting a zone is not going to be that very good. I would love to instead see both faction push, but until the Zerg mentality is changed, unless one side steps down, nothing happens. I don't know about that. I mean, most games do have a lot of Zerging in them.
I would like to, if that is okay, to pick up the word Zerg.
Okay.
I just, it's a bit of a different topic. I just want to know if people are watching. I would just want to pick that up. I really, really don't like the word Zerging. You have so often in RVR the situation that there are a huge number of people fighting each other, like something like 150 against 150 is already like a huge population on the server.
Yes.
And if people are like playing together, like two warbands blobbing up, that's what I call it, blobbing up to move out to for example, fight a pre-made warband that has wiped them, like when they were around running around as single warbands, to wipe them to wipe that pre-made warband together, and that's perfectly valid. I don't see to devalue the idea of blobbing up by calling it Zerging or something. For me, Zerging is mostly if people, for example, are pushing towards the war camp, and then the people respawn and pushing out of the war camp, and then people are pushing to the war camp again, and that is not led by an actual warband leader as its strategy or something, but just people being there and it's a back and forth, and that's Zerging. It's not like the idea of playing together, and playing together as a pack warband is extremely hard to coordinate, to communicate with each other, and if they actually blob up, that's not Zerging.
True.
That's in my opinion.
There is a clarification there that says, difference between there's no difference between the words blobbing and Zerging. They consider the same in this game.
Okay.
So no, you clarifying that. No, you're making that clarification. It's absolutely right. That's why we're in the interview, and that's why I say it lasts 45 minutes to an hour, because the interview, if people are interactive and as much as they are today, there are questions coming up, and we're having a discussion. You know, that's why I don't put a time limit to it. And as a side note, some of the zones are so small that with multiple warbands roaming, they are bound to be in those proximity to each other. Yeah, it basically says if the map is small, having so many people, you're definitely going to see zerging/blobbing happening because of the limitations of the area. I have 2 more questions on my list for Solutar, so I'm going to ask those questions. So if you guys want to type any more questions, I will read them to Solutar right after this too. So we were talking about before we got into the whole zerging and blobbing situation, we were talking about your stream. So I want to finish that topic there. So do you have any announcements regarding your stream that you would like to tell people now? Any events, anything like that that's happening? Have you planned anything?
Not really.
Not at the moment. Okay.
The biggest thing for me right now is just keeping up the stream, because I noticed that many people are very, very interested in seeing me doing warbands, how to lead a warband, that the RVR is active and stuff like that. So just keeping that up, that's my main
and it's good, because on both sides, Order and Destro, I think you're the only one actually doing and streaming warbands at the moment. Most people play solo. I try and do parties, you know, because I see a lot of people doing solo. I'm trying to do parties. You're doing the warband. So we can cover the different gameplays. And it seems to be working out for you, the whole warband thing. And I'm saying this because I don't know how many people watching us right now that actually try to run a warband. I have done pack warbands. I have done organized warbands through guilds, alliances here on this server. A lot of times, a lot of months, and I have to say that the hardest one to run is a pack warband. When people come in, they're not on Discord to listen to you on TeamSpeak. You have to keep typing. You have to keep track of whether they're AFK or not. You know, all these things. In an organized warband, you already know the people. They're all on comms. It's easier to control, and they're here to listen to the orders and, you know, execute them. People at pack warband sometimes like, oh, I can't be asked, or I'm AFK, or this or that. So.
It's funny that you're saying this, because in my opinion, it's actually exactly the other way around. For me, a puck warband, like I noticed about a year ago or something, putting too much work into a puck warband is just you throw away your energy and your time pretty much. So what I'm doing in a puck warband is the minimum that is needed to take a zone or to kill enemies and stuff like that. So I'm kicking people quite quickly. I'm telling people clearly where to go. Just follow me. It's most of the time follow me, and stuff like that. And back then, when I had my own guild, I like when I was in other pre-made warbands, I noticed, like, from a pre-made warband, I'm expecting a way better play than from any sort of puck warband, and getting people to that high standard is actually way harder than keeping a puck warband together, in my opinion, at least. Like, everyone has to use the Discord, and if they're using Discord, the mic has to work, and maybe sometimes it's push to talk, sometimes it's just open talk, and abilities and masteries need to work out, and classes need to be there.
You pointed out something else, that you're expecting better gameplay from a pre-made warband. I don't. No, seriously, I don't, because it takes a lot of time for people to learn to play with others. It takes a lot of time to practice, to know the skills and all this. That's where you get a pre-made warband into competitive play. Why I say it's easier to run a warband like pre-made to a pack warband easier is because in the pre-made, right, what I expect is when I say we move, and I say it like verbally, they move. On the pack warband, you have to type it. Somebody might not see it. Somebody might be AFK. But in a pre-made, no one is AFK. All is there, or are listening at least, you know. You can control the movement easier, because you know and they know they're there to play and follow the thing. In a pack warband, you could get new players that just been there and they don't realize, oh, there's the leader, we have to follow him. That's the thing that I find hard to control, is the people that not on comms to tell them move, have to keep typing. They might miss it, you know. Better gameplay, it takes years and months to acquire that.
Yeah, again, exactly, and that is, I think, the main reason why I said a pre-made warband is for me way harder to do. It's just the way to reach the goal. That's just the difference for me between the two warbands.
Mm-hmm. I also would like to read some. Straw Hat Freddy says, I stream warband leading, but it's so frustrating, I think he means, in the order side. It could be in any side that you stream a warband, if you like the underdog, because I've seen warbands from Destro playing against 300% AO. That's freaking difficult to control. Also, One Elbow Man says, I don't agree, man. It's a game. People need to stop to try hard and have more fun, win or lose. Definitely agree, One Elbow, but we cannot define fun, because fun for me is fighting 1v1. Fighting for fun for Solutar is running Warpack Warband. Fun for other people is always winning. Fun for other people is running 6-man. So we have the options. So definitely will agree with you that it is a game. People shouldn't get pissed off when they lose or win. I don't. I'm having fun. People stream sniping me. People ganging me. It's all part of the game. You know, we'll make choices. I'm having a blast. And if you've ever been to my streams before, I always say to people, don't worry about the levels. Don't get stressed. Have fun. Pick a class you enjoy. Play it. Everything else will come. It's a game. And Freddy, yes, to get macros, it's one thing. You can keep spamming move. But if a person is AFK and you don't know it, he's never going to read it. But on comms, he might be able to listen to you. He has speakers on. And when he's pre-made, he knows he's there to play for 3-4 hours. The pug has a couple of things that when you run one, you might run into them. You may not. Definitely a thing in a pug warband, running a stream and people knowing you're running a stream and they can watch it as well. It helps a little bit more.
Yes.
You know, because they keep an eye on it as well. What the hell is going on, you know? And streams do have a small delay, so if they're out, you know, they went to grab a glass of water, they come back, they might see it on the stream instead of the game. Anyways, I don't know if anybody has any other questions they want to. We can carry on the conversation, of course, but I have one last question on my list. I'm going to ask it and then carry on with your questions, guys, as well. And this conversation is that you're a new streamer. You definitely had a couple of problems and issues when you started streaming, I'm assuming. I know I did, regarding a lot of aspects of streaming, from communication, setting up, graphics, and so on and so forth. So my last question was usually end my questions for the interview and carry on with the rest of the questions from people from the stream chat there, is if you would like to give any tips to anyone that would like to jump into streaming, maybe 1 or 2 pointers you would like to make for them. For anyone that's thinking to go on to streaming this game or any other game for that matter.
Well, I guess I would say something like I was thinking about streaming that it is way easier than it actually is. It is actually work. Like, you have to put a lot of time and work into streaming. Just like my stream is like very, very simple, especially compared to yours, Fixer. And just getting my stream going, just you know, having a camera that works, having music, having audio that is perfectly mixed and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And my all it's set up.
It took me 4 months.
I know.
It's harder.
Say, like,
it's harder than I thought, to be honest.
Like, I would say to you, if you want to start streaming, first you have to be a communist, because you have to do it. You have to do planned economy before you start actually a stream. Okay, for anyone that didn't got that, I mean, you have to plan really what you're doing, like what camera I want to get, what mic I want to get, and then after you got all that stuff and all that setup, then you should actually start streaming.
True.
It's not just I want to stream stream tomorrow. Let's hop in. It's
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
you can
it-
do it, but it's not great.
It takes a while to set it up, and to be honest, for me, I had to take a small loan from my brother. I took 3,000 euros for a new computer, the camera, and all that, and some money that people donated through subscriptions and donation to my stream to get it running the way it is. But that's the limit of my internet connection in the country I'm living in as well. So yeah, I agree with you. You need to plan ahead, play with it a little bit before you go live to stream a game. You know, get your graphics and everything done. There is one question. I will read it, although it's been answered to some extent to the chat here. The question is it hard for Destruction to find healers tanks for warband scenario groups and dungeons?
I would say no, but that is only from a perspective of somebody that is mostly running these puck warbands. I've noticed so often, especially recently, and I don't really know why. I guess it's just it's luck or whatever, that there are a lot of healers around on Destro's side that want to join puck warbands. And it's never actually a huge issue. Like I've noticed in forts when I was doing a fort warbands that people whispered me that were in my warband and said like, well, why don't you finally close the warband and get a proper mix up with stuff, things like that. And after I kicked that guy, I'm not always do that, but I'm like, if a group has one heal and a lot of DPS and one tank, that can perfectly work out. You just have to adapt to that situation. I'm always telling people in that case, okay, guys, well, your group has one healer and nothing else. So if we are going for the enemy, go in, kill the enemy as quickly as possible, and most of the time that perfectly works out, and we are just rushing the enemy and killing them. So a shortage of healers, I don't see that really. I
think Destro
have to handle.
I think your side has a lot more healers than Order does. So I have no more questions. I don't see any relevant questions there on the stream. Regarding the conversation about warband stuff, guys, we can carry on the stream later on. Thank you very much for being with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Solutar Krateris. Thank you very much again for coming in. Also, I would like to thank...
Somebody's saying wait.
Yeah. I'll tell you that. Yeah, I know what it is. I also would like to thank Secrets here, who teleported us up here, which is an area inaccessible to most people. Trying to show you what's up down there. Yeah, Secrets wants you to punt me, so you're gonna have to put your PvP on. And try and punt me off, because I'm not gonna make it easy for you.
Okay, you know what? Fixer, this was a really interesting interview.
I think it was.
So, just for you.
Yes.
I'm getting out my RVR tactic and I'm putting in my long back tactic. Okay. Just come to me, please, and stay right here.
You're gonna punt me off? Oh, hold on. If you're gonna punt me off, no. I wanna make it spectacular though. Hold on.
Okay.
Don't punt me yet.
Okay.
Because I think this is gonna be great. You need to punt me with the banner up.
Oh my god.
Hold on. Before you do it, you know what dwarves do when you punt them and they hold the banner?
They roll, right?
Yes, it's the only class that actually rolls. So I think it's gonna look really cool. I'm gonna take the interface off. Okay, you can punt me.
Can you just do me a favor and turn around so you don't parry me? That would be...
I cannot parry you. But I will. Sure? Okay, yeah, I don't have that high parry. I only have 99% parry.
Okay, as soon as I kick you, try to turn around, look at me and look in the air. Okay? After I punt you.
But you need
3, 2, 1.
Hey! Woo, look at me go, I'm spinning! Woohoo! Oh my god, what a dive!
Yeah.
And I'm alive!
See that.
I'm alive! I'm down at the war camp. But I love when dwarves get punning with a banner, they spin crazy. Yeah, it was a great pun, guys. I think that... Welcome, Savarok. I think that pun with the banner gets 10 out of 10 there from the judges. We win!
No.
We win!
Secrets betrayed me! What
happened?
He jumped off, and I was like, okay, we're all jumping off. And then in mid-air, he stopped, and I fell down and died.
Warcry. Let me ask you a question there on the chat. Whose stream do you think you're watching? Of course I survived. Don't forget that the banner has an ability that reduces damage to 1. So the banners can actually get you where you need to be. On the secret. Although to be honest, Solutar, I would like to have the duel with you. I know how you feel about it. But just panding me, it's cool. I hope I'll see you somewhere along without your warband to fight you one of these days.
Yes,
Secrets, again, thanks for getting us up there.